So here's a start of a list of the different partners that we reached out to. So knowing that we spent about the first half of the year issue focused, we still were able to get to quite a few partners last year as well. So wanted to give you a taste of some of those people we have talked to. And then how did we decide who we were going to work with and what projects? And Crystal actually helped with these slides here and did a really nice job. If you want to flip to the next one here. So these community partners identified a unique gap that existed that the Junior League could really help with. So Gems and Guys, I guess I shouldn't scoot, I have to be in here. Gems and Guys identified a gap in empowering parents to continue science and math learning at home. So they have a really strong program of how to reach the kids, but needed help with how to reach the parents. Partnership Academy, which is the charter school that we're also looking to work with for homes, has super high participation, like almost 100% participation at their parent-teacher conferences. And they've in the past done literacy fairs, so they have this very captive audience, and they have been able to get them engaged in support in parent resource programs essentially. But they don't have funding for a math and science program and would love to expand that out. Achieve Minneapolis identified a desire for students to be able to reflect on their Step Up internship program in the form of an essay with the guidance of a mentor. So again, it goes back to that resource gap that they just don't have today. The last stat I saw is on average they recommend 250 high school students per school counselor, and Minneapolis is somewhere closer to 430. So, and you think 250 to 1, I mean still, you're not getting it, you're not getting a ton of support in that situation either. So, next slide. So 3 more things. The community partners also wanted to work with us, which I think is really important. So again, work with, not for. And you're going to call different community partners, and they're going to say, great, we have some shelves that need to be built and reorganized, and can you paint a mural for us, or whatever it may be. Most organizations aren't in the business of this full project development, resource, funding mode like we are, and so they expect us just to be manpower. And what the League really stands for is more than just manpower. While we do that through a lot of our helping hands type shifts, our goal is to have that partnership and that stake and that commitment alongside the community.
Yeah, and Maggie, just interrupt for a second. If you do hear something that you think this sounds amazing, it's just more helping hands type, feel free to say, I'll take that back to our helping hands. That's a good way to get out of a conversation too, and then we can work together with helping hands.
And to add to that, also a great way to explore that partnership potentially further, because we get to test out the waters through a shift and say, hey, maybe there is something really here. And I think most community partners, when they have Junior League volunteers, they're like, oh my God, you got done significantly more than I ever thought was possible. You were hands-on, you came in, you got it done. So those shifts really do also help build credibility for us in the community. Time and capacity, so what are they able to do at this point in time? Are they ready to move? And then finally, alignment with our issue. So parenting support programs for STEM, and then mentoring. Both pair really nicely. So where are we today? This is my stab at putting our different subcommittees on the map. So current and new projects, it's really about defining what is it that we want to achieve this year. And to give some context, particularly to the broader group, from a current projects, we'd love to do a survey of our members, survey of our community partners, which I don't know if we've actually ever done, surveyed our current community partners, as well as survey our chairs of projects to see what's going well, what isn't going well, and use that with the information that we know we've built up with regards to so like Backpack Buddies, the food kitchen. There's now these pop-up pantries that are coming into existence. What does that mean for our program? What is the future of kids in the kitchen? So helping to consult on that with getting both member feedback as well as community partner feedback. So that's something that we will be focused on. New projects is really probably going to be more about new partnerships, really, than adding on a full-scale project. But one of the things that in future meetings you'll hear more about is the Northside Achievement Zone, also referred to as NAZ, N-A-Z. And last year, Minneapolis was one of 4 cities in the U.S. 5 cities to receive a mammoth grant of $28 million to essentially take over the zone. So you may have heard they did it in Harlem, they did it in Cincinnati, where they take over an entire part of town, and it's about rebuilding it from schools, from business to infrastructure to housing, the whole 9 yards of, boy, we're going to put an influx of money in this area and try and tackle all of these problems because they are all so interconnected. So they have had that money for about a year now or so, maybe even a little less than that. And we would love to be able to support some of the work that they're doing up there. So that's something that we will probably be focused on. Homes and Right to Thrive. So we were here, right? So we voted it in. And I put us back up here, somewhere in between ideation and refine mode, right? So we know where we're starting, what our scope is, but there's a whole host of questions that you guys have already come up with that we need to start thinking through. And for the next several months, we're going to continue to live in that space of ideation. So it may feel uncomfortable, but it is really important for us from a process standpoint to have that time to simmer on some of those ideas before we jump right to the recommend. And that may even require us to bump back up and do some additional research, to have some more brainstorming conversation. But as we move through the year, we will start going down with a goal of ending at a vote of some sort, whether it's a vote to make these standalone projects, whether it's a vote to incubate them for an additional year, or whether it's a vote to say, we don't think this is the right fit for the junior league at this point in time. So the next steps is the directors for homes, so Becca and Crystal have both been charged with taking the list of questions that you created, as well as the workup plan that I gave as a kind of a framework of these are when certain milestones need to be hit, and taking that down to the next level of a project plan. And in 3 weeks, when we have our leader meeting, the directors and Lori and myself, we'll be walking through that. So next meeting, plan to see some more concrete information about what does this actually mean for me. Because I know you guys are really hungry for that, but they need to get their arms wrapped around it so that we can have a really solid plan for the year. So those are next steps at this point in time. If you're on new projects, Lori is your point of person. If you're on current projects, I'm your point of person. Becca's your point of person for homes.